All right, Kevin, JAG University, we just went over in our previous episode, right, the hurricane deductible, wind deductible.
Correct.
Which sometimes could be a lot higher than people think.
Yeah, it can be scary, right?
It could be scary. It could be honestly unaffordable. Not everyone's set up to have that type of reserves to be able to pay those high deductibles, especially if your policy is written in a way you didn't understand it. It could be blanket. It could be just a higher deductible than you assumed how it's going to pay out. What's an option that somebody can do?
Yeah. So it's scary. I mean, let's say the only option you had was one with a blanket deductible. You have 10 buildings, but it's a per policy 5%. Your deductible is like $500,000. But that's the only company that wanted to write you.
Right.
That's what you're stuck with. So in situations like that, what we can propose is a policy called a wind deductible buyback policy.
Okay.
And essentially, that's another insurance policy that in the event of a hurricane claim, it's paying the difference between that wind or hurricane deductible you have and then the deductible that you set on the policy. So let's say you have a wind deductible buyback policy that buys you back down from 5% to $10,000. In the event of a hurricane claim, your wind deductible is only $10,000. Some products even buy you back all the way to zero.
And it's funny, most people don't understand that product exists. Obviously, when you're looking at buying property coverage, rates are going up, people want to save money. But there has to be that conversation, too, about what can I afford out of pocket, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes leveraging, bringing the deductible down, maybe to zero, maybe to 1%. Bridging that gap, these policies kind of fill that gap to make sure that you can afford to do those repairs in lieu of being almost self-insuring your roof.
Correct. Yeah, a lot of businesses, a lot of condo associations, homeowners, their only option on the table was something with a high wind deductible.
Right.
Their wind deductible is $100,000, is $50,000, and they say, hey, in the event of a storm, my roof replacement is going to be $30,000. I can't afford that deductible. I'm self-insuring, but I'm willing to shell out $1,000, $2,000, whatever dollars a year in order to remove that deductible from the equation.
Yeah, bring it down.
Now I don't have that financial risk. Now if a hurricane comes, I'm paying a little bit more on the front end, but now I know I can get a roof replacement covered and paid by my insurance.
How often do you see insurers taking advantage of that option?
Not as often as I would like. I think we're going to see it more and more just because since we're transitioning to a harder market, wind is harder to get.
Carriers are going to higher deductibles as well.
Exactly. So now people that historically were able to get lower deductibles are stuck with higher ones.
Right.
So that wind deductible policy, buyback policy, while in the past may not have made sense, now it's starting to make more sense. So I think we haven't seen it as much in the past as we would have liked, but it's going to be something that's going to play a bigger part in property risk management going forward.
Yeah, and it's interesting about there too is you could look at different options. Back to what you said, you might have a 5%. Let's just use the percentage to make it easier from a math perspective. You could bring it down to 3 to 2 to 1, depending on the price variance as well. So that's an additional conversation as well of looking at. I think most people need to find out what's your roof going to cost.
Yeah.
Right now roofs are going up, right? The cost of roofs have increased, but that the more information you have up front, the better decisions you can make on how you're buying insurance. I think that's where you find that actual value and what you're paying for.
Correct. So if you're in a situation where you have a wind or hurricane deductible and you're saying, whoa, this is too high, I don't have the cash, I can't afford it, an option that you have to get out of that situation would be to look into a wind deductible buyback policy.
I like it.
It's a lot of words for a policy, but
well, the more words, the more comprehensive the coverage is, right?
Yeah, there you go.